Okay, we have the sine of 3 pi x that we're trying to integrate from 0 to 1. And we recognize that 3 pi x is in the interior. And so that's the most obvious thing to let u equal. If u is 3 pi x, as soon as you decide what u is, you take its derivative. The derivative of 3 pi x is 3 pi, that's the constant, times x. But you write it as du equals that 3 pi times dx. You write it like that because we have to do a substitution. We have to substitute for dx. Normally we don't think anything of this symbol dx, but for u substitution we need to actually not take it for granted. The dx is something that needs to be substituted for. So we divide by 3 pi to see what we can replace dx by. So when we see dx, we'll replace it with 1 over 3 pi du. And so the integrand becomes sine of u, and dx becomes 1 over 3 pi du. And we're integrating that instead. The point being is it's a simpler integral that we can do. And so I like to take the constants and pull them outside. So I'm going to take this 1 over 3 pi and pull it to the outside. And now I can just focus on the sine of u and find the antiderivative of the sine of u. What function has sine of u as its derivative? Can't just be cosine u. It needs to be negative cosine of u, because cosine u has negative sine u as its derivative. And so if you put a negative in front of that, those two negatives will cancel each other out. And so negative cosine u is the antiderivative of sine of u. And I'm going to take that negative and pull it out with the 1 over 3 pi. And then replace the u with x, 3 pi x. And this statement just basically says, I have found my antiderivative of my original function that was in the integrand in terms of x, and now I'm going to plug in the upper limit and plug in the lower limit. I'm going to execute the fundamental theorem of calculus next. So I'm going to plug a 1 in for x and get the cosine of 3 pi, plug a 0 in for x and get the cosine of 0. And keep the negative 1 over 3 pi outside, because I mean, it'll be involved in both. It's better just to deal with it outside. The cosine of 3 pi is the same as the cosine of pi. You take away a revolution, you take away 2 pi away, and you're left with the cosine of pi, basically. And the cosine of pi is negative 1, so that's going to be what the cosine of 3 pi is. The cosine of 0 is 1, but the negative from the fundamental theorem of calculus will then give us a negative 1 and another negative 1. So a negative 2 multiplied by the negative 1 over 3 pi gives us the answer of 2 over 3 pi.